Now, I'm going to introduce Nerissa, and she's going to get up and tell you her story and tell you why you're all here. And so please welcome Nerissa Mapes.
Hi everyone, I'm Nerissa, and tonight's all about me. Well, it's a little bit about my foundation pop, Perspectives on Parkinson's, which is a little bit about Parkinson's disease, and tonight's a comedy night, so it's a little bit about having a laugh as well. But first of all, I'd like it to be about me. So you can tell by looking at me that I've got Parkinson's disease, right? Don't have the shakes, 31 years of age. Well, Parkinson's doesn't discriminate based on age. It's not the shakes, and it's not what happens when you get old. It's a degenerative neurological condition that robs you of your ability to control your body. And Parkinson's is no cat burglar. It doesn't operate in stealth mode. This crime is committed in full view of the world, and it's not pretty to watch. I consider myself to be in the honeymoon phase of this disease. My grandmother actually has Parkinson's as well, and she's bedridden in a nursing home, and she's unable to walk, unable to feed herself, and barely able to talk. So then there's me. The medication's working. My symptoms aren't on display most of the time. I'm doing all right. Most of the time I feel like my body's wrapped in wire. I've forgotten what it's like to feel sort of free and easy in my body. So tonight I want to tell you a little bit about what it's like for me to live with Parkinson's, give you a bit of an insight. In particular in two areas that are important to me in my life, one of which is fashion, and the other one's dating. So fashion first, because a girl's got to have priorities. Parkinson's for me is about a lack of dexterity motor skills. It's about slowness of movement, which means that it takes me a long time to get ready to go out. And I'm a girl, so it takes me a very, very long time to get ready to go out. Things like buttons and bows can be a little bit difficult sometimes, or just downright impossible at others. My friend Sam found this out when he invited me to Melbourne Cup last year. I chose to wear a dress with bows that did up the straps, so they were kind of important. And those bows made me an hour late to meet Sam. And when I did finally arrive, they were sort of still dodgily, haphazardly put together. So I asked Sam to do them up for me on the packed train into Flemington, which he was a little embarrassed about, but that's what friends are for. I'm a little bit clumsy, I stumble a little bit, and I still wear heels, and some very, very high heels sometimes. I don't intend to move into the realm of just flats only. I don't want to sacrifice my fashion sense completely to this illness. Shopping, Parkinson's is actually sapping the fun out of shopping as well, which is a bit of a concern. One day I went into a change room and it took me, well, I got the top on okay, but it took me 15 minutes of excruciatingly long time and many helpful inquiries from the sales assistant and some very dirty looks from the women that are waiting to get into the change rooms on the way out to get that top off. And also things like when I actually decide to buy something, negotiating coins, notes, cards into my purse into my handbag, and then collecting my handbag and those purchases and getting out of the shop can feel like it takes an eternity. I feel like I'm holding everyone up, and then I get more nervous and flustered and things slow down even more. So, but I think I'm still quite fashionably dressed, so it's not affecting me too much. So dating. As hot as it is to tell someone on the first date that you've got a degenerative neurological condition, my friends have been warning me against it. But in the world of Google, potential suitors often have already found out that I have Parkinson's. So one particular gentleman who had done his research, I asked him, he told me about it, and I asked him if it was a problem. He said, no, not at all. As long as you don't bore me with the details. And another gentleman was fine with it as well because, hell, it's not contagious. But being on a date with me can be a little bit interesting, or it can be quite drawn out. I'm quiet because Parkinson's affects the volume of your voice. So if there's any ambient noise in a restaurant, basically you can't hear me. So that might be a good thing. Or, and using a knife and fork on the best of days can be quite frustrating. I've given up on countless meals just because it was hard to use a knife and fork that day. But if I'm nervous, if I'm on a date, then it can draw out that experience. It can be an embarrassing, very drawn-out meal. But, you know, it's worth it. I'm a great first date, I'm a great second date, I'm a great third date. There was loosely related to dating, though. When my father, when I went home after I was diagnosed, my father had an interesting response. He said, "Great, well, now you can move home and you should have a baby." And, I mean, what father wants their single daughter to get up the duff and move home? Especially when you're thrown into chronic illness as well. It was an interesting response. So that's a little bit of an insight as to what it's like, how Parkinson's has impacted two important parts of my life that maybe the traditional person with Parkinson's doesn't have to deal with because they're a little bit older. D-Day came for me on the 12th of January 2006. I remember walking out back into the street after leaving the neurologist's office and wondered why the world still looked the same, why people were still rushing for the tram when my world had been rocked at the core. I don't know how I got through those first couple of months. No one would have blamed me if I shut the door on the world and curled up in a ball. It's just over 2.5 years now since I was diagnosed, and I didn't shut the door. I went back to uni, went back to postgrad, got a promotion at work, started my foundation, POP, Perspectives on Parkinson's. And so far I've raised about $45,000, not including tonight. So. And being the founder of POP and being an ambassador for Parkinson's, I've had some unique and interesting opportunities. One of which was I went to Parliament House in Canberra last year and spoke to politicians and media there and told them my story and presented the findings of an Access Economics report on the real impact of Parkinson's on our society and on our economy. I've been in the media a few times. I was on the 7:30 report just before Christmas, various print and radio media. So I've got a unique, including Women's Day. I've got a copy if you missed it. I don't want to know where it is. So I've got a unique story to tell because I'm a little bit younger than most people with Parkinson's, and I intend to use that story to bring some attention and focus to this disease. Parkinson's doesn't have a voice in Australia, and I think it needs an ambassador. And the work I'm doing has a very, very clear goal. And that goal is a cure for Parkinson's disease in my lifetime. Now, I'm a little bit younger than most people with Parkinson's, if you haven't noticed. And so I've got a head start, and I think a cure in my lifetime is a perfectly achievable goal. So CJ mentioned that we met on a trip down to a Warrnambool Parkinson's function. I'm a bit of a regular on the Parky speaking circuit. They were going to buy CJ a ticket to go down to Warrnambool on a train, so I actually Facebooked him and invited him along to join me. And I packed some serious road trip tunes that day. I had the soundtracks from Xanadu, Flashdance and Footloose. There are a number of things that I can attribute to my neurological condition, but my bad taste in music is not one of them. So CJ was trying not to hear the music, and his opinion of me was going downhill with every cheesy tune that was put on. So I felt the vibe, and I turned the music down and started having a chat to him and told him about Parkinson's and gave him the 101 and told him about my foundation, and which is how Tonight was born. Every one of us has their Parkinson's, whether it's personal illness or injury or that of a loved one. Everyone is bruised somehow by life. When these things happen to us, many of us can't help but ask why. I've never asked why or how I came to have Parkinson's. I just need to know how to live with it. And for me, living with it means doing all I can to help find a cure. For me, it's a calling to help people understand more about it and to give it a voice, as I mentioned before. Parkinson's disease is on the increase. It's actually going to increase by about 15% in the next 5 years. So the chances are that if you don't know anyone now with Parkinson's, you soon will. So you need to know more about it. We need to do more about it. When I think of my future, which I rarely do, I think of it as a maybe. So things like tonight is about helping people like me make that maybe into a definitely, into a certainty. All the funds raised by POP go to the Howard Florey Institute for research into a cure for Parkinson's and improved quality of life and improved diagnostic methods. And organisations like Parkinson's Victoria and Parkinson's Australia who contribute to counselling and support services and do a lot of work to try and get the government to change their mind and change their thinking around the fact that Parkinson's needs support. So on that heavy note, I'd like to say thank you very much for coming. I appreciate it a great deal. And I also want to say thank you to CJ for putting up with my bad music taste and still wanting to do something like tonight. Thanks to Kevin from Word for his support and to the Daves. Dave Thornton, I think, is here, but I'm not sure if Dave O'Neill's here yet. But thank you very much, and I hope you have a great night. Thanks.
Nerissa Mapes, ladies and gentlemen. Great. So we're all filled in now.